The draw to Carroll, steps across the red line, backhands it deep in Canton territory. Racing back after it, Ainsworth. He has it knocked away by Robidoux. Robidoux takes it out by the blue line and drops it to Park at the point. Park has it knocked away by Parks, or Chase rather, and out to center ice it comes. Here comes Mike Fisher, 1-on-2. Fisher tries to go wide. Takes it in front, gets a sharp angle shot, and Meacham is going to hold on for the face-off as the Massena defenseman almost got beat, but then managed to get back and force him just wide enough where he couldn't get much wood on it.
Mike Fisher, 5'11", sophomore, showing some excellent speed through center ice and down that right side as he got a half a step around Brian Carroll, but wasn't able to finish. Good move.
Face-off in the Massena zone off the draw. Raiders control. David Park takes it behind the net. In the Massena zone, Park flipping it ahead to Robidoux, just a little bit too far, but following up is Mankeys. Mankeys trying to drop to Job. It's knocked away into the Massena zone, and here comes John Parks. His shot is wide all the way around the boards. Stepping up is Ainsworth to keep it in the zone. Here's Chase, centering pass, knocked away. Raiders try to move it out. Steve Smith. Smith flips ahead for Mankeys. Ainsworth intercepts. Backs it to the Massena line where Brian Carroll gathers it in, steps across the red line into the zone. Here comes Brian Carroll, one on about 5, and he stops and just flips it in the corner as the Raiders make a change. Here's an opportunity for Michaud, poke checked away as the Raiders getting that other line out there. To the blue line it comes. Rochford keeps it in, trying to kick it to Mankeys. Mankeys goes to Michaud. Aaron tries to barge his way through. He can't. Ainsworth flips it on the other side. Here's Engstrom, centering pass right across the goal mouth. Michaud couldn't put a stick on the puck, and now Canton's going to ice it as they want a line change, as that Chase line was out there. Well, actually, it's the Parks line, but they were out there too long.
One of the things I would like to see the Raiders do a little more at times is shoot that puck at, instead of trying to get in tight that time, number 11, just fine-looking sophomore, and Michaud, again, he had that shot over into the dot, but he wanted to make that one extra move, get in a little closer, and he lost the puck before he took the shot. Shoot the puck, go to the net, crash that net.
Face-off right side. Inside Canton territory to the blue line, kept in at the point by the Raiders. Now it's out to center ice. Smith takes a whack at it, can't control it. Here come the Golden Bears in the zone, and is forced wide. Into the corner it goes. After it there, Massena Steve Smith. He rounds the boards with it. Aaron Michaud knocked away from him. Here's a quick shot, is blocked, and the puck goes into the corner. Around the horn it goes. As they move it to the 45, bounces right in, and Meacham is going to hold on for the face-off.
Shot coming from the point. Nick White taking a shot, but it hit somebody in front and changed directions, and an innocent-looking shot turned to be pretty tough. Matt Meacham had to really be agile to corral that thing because it changed directions on him.
Face-off will come inside the Massena zone. Robbie Whitcup against Mark Smith. Off the draw, here's a shot knocked down in the circle, and Robbie moves it out to center ice. Trying to go to Nathan, knocked away. Comes into the Massena zone. The delay offsides Raiders. Now Canton gets in the zone, and it's flipped into the corner by Kevin Horan. Whitcup. Nathan picks it up, trying to flip it ahead, knocked away, goes in behind the net, and it's picked up there by Patrick Ryan. Ryan has it swept away, and it's Whitcup. Whitcup's headman doesn't clear the zone, but Brown throws a check, and the Raiders follow. Here's Kevin Horan trying to headman to Robbie Whitcup, knocked away. It's going to come to Ian Francia. Francia gathers it in, flips it ahead for Nathan Whitcup, a little bit too far, but following is Robbie. Robbie takes it in the corner, centering pass right across the goal mouth, back to the point. Horan whacks at it, it's blocked, and bounces out to center ice where Ian Francia picks it up. Here's Francia to an open wing. Brown turns it around, looking to headman to Nathan Whitcup. Whitcup trying to barge his way through. He's knocked off the puck. It bounces to the blue line, kept in at the point. Here comes Robidoux. Robidoux steps by the check, takes it in front all by himself. Robidoux shot, and the save made by Frank as Matt couldn't get much on the backhand, and back the other way come the Bears. Are going to ice the puck, and the whistle blows, and we'll have a face-off. So the Raiders come up with a great chance and just can't get it by Frank.
Oh, big 22 Matt Robidoux. So often we've seen him make those excellent moves. Coming off the bench, just was able to keep the puck into the zone by a second. Went down that right side, and Nathan Whitcup ran a pick for him. And he picked off the Canton defenseman, and then Robidoux cut into his left and just turned the defenseman inside out, right across the crease. Had goaltender down, Frank down and out of the play, and he couldn't put it in that empty side. Ooh.
Off the faceoff, puck in behind, picked up by David Lapointe. Lapointe circles along the boards and flips it out to center ice where Park picks it up ahead to Carroll. Carroll backhands to the Canton line, knocked down there by the Bears. Here comes Lapointe, and he'll just dump it from the Massena blue line in the corner. Park after it, trying to flip it in behind, picked up by the Bears. They got a man in the crease, circling around, and into the corner it goes. He'll go back to Lapointe at the point. His shot went off a leg into the corner. Bounces back, high slot, as they battle for it, and Carroll's going to pick it up as it went off the stick of Briggs. Here comes Carroll, goes by one. Brian Carroll coming in the off wing, looks to center right across the goal mouth. In the meantime, the net got knocked off and the whistle will blow, and the faceoff will be in Canton territory as the Golden Bear defenseman was coming back and ran right in and knocked it off. That was Ryan Hayes.
Good job by Brian Carroll down that right side, and again, like to see it. He directed it, he was going wide, couldn't turn the corner on the defenseman, but he backhanded the puck to the crease, and 21, Matt Job, went to the net without the puck, which you have to do, and he and the Canton defenseman knocked off that net, but going to the net without the puck. Good job by number 21, Matt Job, but he has come on like gangbusters since he's got a regular spot on that line with Robidoux and Menkes.
Well, apparently they're going to rule Job knocked it off.
Yeah, he did.
They moved the faceoff back outside.
Well, he was helped by the Canton defenseman, I'll tell you.
Robidoux ready to take the faceoff against John Parks. 11:21 left in the first period. No score on the Corky's Collision scoreboard. Off the draw, Park for Massena. Dumps it in. We got a Park and a Parks. Puck along the boards. Bears look to clear and do. Here comes Canton. They got a minor 2-on-1. John Parks busting in. Takes it right in front and lost it off the end of his stick. But some good defensive play made by David Park in getting back to kind of run a little interference there.
John Parks, he's 6 foot and 180 pounds. I'll tell you, he can motor.
And we got an icing call on Canton. No? Well, how that wasn't an icing, I'm not really sure, but the puck goes in the corner now, and the Raiders pick it up, knocked away. Into the corner, right across the goal mouth. And finally, it's Menkes flipping it ahead, not out of the zone, bounces in front, cleared ahead to center ice by Massena, picked up by Peter Smith, lifts it high in the air and into the corner. Steve Smith for the Raiders. His headman pass knocked away, it bounces into the corner, and in behind the net, Golden Bears look to center it. And into the circle it goes. Working it is Parks, and he has it knocked off his stick. Raiders move it ahead. Robidoux. Robidoux, headman pass meant for Angstrom, a little bit too far, and that one is icing. And down the Massena zone it will come.
Raiders guilty of being careless in their own end. A couple unforced errors down there, and the Bears started to squeeze them and had a couple of good opportunities. I'll tell you, that line of Parks, Chase, and Fisher, they'd be a good front line in an NAC basketball game. Chase is 6'5", Parks is 6 foot, and Fisher's 5'11". They'd be a tough threesome up front in a basketball game.
Mark Smith out there to take the face-off against Angstrom. Angstrom wins it to Francia. Francia behind his own net now, flips it around the boards to the blue line, and here comes Angstrom. Out to center ice, pokes it by the defenseman, racing for it. Here's Angstrom picking it up. Has it knocked away, trying to get it back again. It goes to Rushford, back to Angstrom, front shot, score! Quick release by Tad Angstrom right up over the shoulder, and the Raiders take the lead 1-0.
And a great pass from number 23, Paul Rochefort. Just a great pass right on the tape on the right side, about the top of the circle. Rochefort's got the puck. He sees number 6, Angstrom, down below at the bottom of the circle. Great pass through two Canton defenders right on the tape. Angstrom takes about 2 strides and wrists one right up in that top left-hand corner. Great shot and a great pass by Rochefort.
So the Raiders take the lead here early in the hockey game, 1-0 our score. Ted Angstrom gets the goal. Who do we have? Horan with the puck, Kevin Horan. In the corner, has it knocked away. Puck along the boards. Horan follows up now, moves it ahead for Rochefort. Rochefort clears the zone, and out to center ice it goes. Back to pick it up is David Lapointe. Lapointe, his pass knocked down by Aaron Michaud, but the puck goes back out to center ice, and Patrick Ryan dumps it deep in Massena territory. Stop behind the net for Francia. He'll kick the puck ahead to Michaud. He gathers it in, starts to move it ahead, doesn't clear the zone. Ryan's there. His shot high over the net. Kevin Horan again flips it ahead for Rochefort. Rochefort, long, rink-wide pass right on the stick of Michaud. He's got Angstrom breaking, didn't see him. Now he flips it, goes right in on net. And Frank. Now Rochefort follows up. Puck cleared back to the blue line. Park cranks it up. It's blocked. And bouncing out to center ice. Here comes Canton's Jason Briggs. Briggs has it knocked away. Rochefort. Rochefort can't quite clear the zone. Kept in along the blue line as they battle for it there. Rochefort after it. He gets hauled down. There's going to be a penalty. Raiders try to control the puck, but Canton does. And the whistle will blow. I'll tell you what, Paul Rochefort, I don't think we mentioned this before. He was injured in the Seton Catholic game, but it certainly hasn't bothered him here tonight. He's playing, and Coach made a good description of him. He said he has the heart of a lion.
He certainly does, and I'll tell you, he went down hard, and that's number 36, J.P. Bridges, and that's called slew footing, Jerry, and that's what Bridges did to Rochefort. You bring the skate in behind, and you put the upper body, the elbow on the upper body, and you knock his feet out from under him, and that's what J.P. Bridges did to Paul Rochefort, and those are really, really dangerous, and referee Joe Eppolito right on the spot.
So the Raiders will go on the power play here. Robidoux wins the face-off to Steve Smith, goes to David Park. Park skates it ahead. Long head man too far, meant for Robidoux, but it's going to be icing on Massena.
Jerry, I'll tell you how important that power play is for the Raiders this year. In games that they've scored a power play goal, the Raiders are 8-1-0. Games in which they have not scored a power play, they're 1-5-2.
So the power play important for the Red Raiders.
It is important.
You bet. Face-off will move back in the Massena zone. Jason Briggs will face off against Matt Robidoux. Off the draw. Puck in the circle. Briggs just dumps it into the corner, and David Park will gather it in for Massena. David Park starts out left side. His head man on the stick of Steve Smith. Cross-ice pass to Robidoux. Robidoux takes it in, goes by the defenseman. In the corner, Matt Robidoux trying to drop it for Carroll. He does. Here's Brian Carroll back to Park at the point. Park fakes a shot. Trying to go to Carroll, goes to Robidoux instead. His shot, he fired it wide. That was a busted play that almost converted. Puck ripped around the boards, and Brian Carroll will pick it up. Back to Park at the point. Back to Carroll, 45. 45 goes to Mankeys, rather. Gets away from him. He's cleared around the boards, but Carroll picks it up, goes back to the point. Here's Park. He slides around, flips it. Meant for Brian Carroll, but it bounces by him, but Mankeys comes up with it in the corner. Steve Mankeys with it to Robidoux. He lets it go by to Steve Smith at the point. Back to Robidoux, back to Smith, and that came out of the zone, and we're going to have an offsides on Massena. Raiders have passed the puck around a lot, but haven't gotten any shots.
Yeah, and Canton, again, expanding that box, and when they do that, the Raiders have got to go into the seam, and they're not doing that. They've got to jump into that seam. That go-ahead goal, the 5:03 mark, his 12th of the year, Tad Angstrom with number 23, Paul Rochefort, on the assist.
22 seconds left in the man advantage. Raiders lead it 1-0 on the Evergreen Memorial scoreboard. Off the faceoff, Robidoux wins it back to Park. Park just dumps it, and the puck rips into the corner, but it's picked up by Lapointe. He flips it to the blue line. Park keeps it in. Cross-ice pass, he's got Robidoux. Robidoux skates in front, shot, oh, and the save made by Frank on the backhand. Back to David Park, his shot from the point, save made. Puck clear to the blue line. Park keeps it in again. Goes to Brian Carroll. Carroll looks, skates it back to Park. Now we get a man behind him. Park gets a quick snapshot off. Save made by Frank. Comes to Robidoux. Robidoux steps by, can't get the shot off, and the Bears move it out to center ice. Here comes Corey Chase with it. Oh, nice move at the blue line. Chase busts in his shot, fired it wide. And Meacham, after it bounces off the backboard, decides to cover up and hold on.
Matt Robidoux won't get better opportunities on that off wing, but he's got to cut to the net. He's on his off wing, and he elected to stay on the backhand. He had plenty of room to cut into the front of the net and be on his forehand and have both sides of that net to shoot at. He stayed outside, stayed wide, and elected to go to the backhand and took most of the net away from himself.
7:03 left in the first period. Raiders are leading on a score of 1-0 on the Corky scoreboard. Here's a shot from the blue line. That's high and wide. Puck bounces into the corner in the Massena zone. Bounces free in front. Chase flips it in behind. He had Parks free, and it went right by him. Here's Parks with it, knocked off the puck. Good play made. The Raiders break out. Robbie Whitcup with it. Whitcup takes it across the red line, drops it back to Brown, and offsides will be the call. Actually, I think he lost it off the end of his stick, and Brown followed up, but offsides will be the call.
That's what it was. Robbie wanted to gain the blue line before he made that move, and he gave a little head and shoulder fake to the defenseman, and just as he got to the blue line, but the puck rolled off his stick and pulled his line mates offside. 6:41 left in this first period, but the Raiders that important in a game as important as this to get that first goal, and that's a big one.
Now they're going to, I don't know what's going on here. I don't have a clue. They've got the face-off at center ice.
There's definitely an offside. I don't know what the...
Apparently there's a penalty on Canton. Okay, that's what it is. I did not see that. Slashing the call on Parks. So the Raiders have another power play.
Canton's had a history of being undisciplined, Jerry, and taking some foolish penalties.
I didn't even see that one. Here comes Angstrom. Oh, here's the move. In front, short side shot, save! Where is it? Frank's got it underneath him, but I'll tell you what, it went off the end of his stick, and he was just able to grab it.
I'll tell you, just lurking right there, number 6, Tad Angstrom, just waiting for that. Or no, that's Steve Menkes, excuse me, number 9. waiting to pounce on that rebound, but Franks was able to keep it underneath him. Just an excellent save. Coach Roger Hewitt had been very pleased with this youngster this year, but he said he's got a tendency every once in a while to give up a soft one, and after that it's tough to beat him.
Off the face-off, Raiders win it back to David Park at the point. Park flips it. Carroll comes out by the blue line and turns it back inside. Goes to Mankies. Back to Carroll. Carroll circles. Back to the point. David Park, he's got room. Winds up the shot, deflected just wide by Mankies as he got knocked down. Bears try to clear it along the boards and out to center ice it goes. Engstrom gathers it in there. Here's Engstrom dropping it to Park. Park skates it ahead to Robidoux. Matt Robidoux takes it across. Has it poke checked away. Mankies follows up. Flips it in the Robidoux back to Mankies. Top of the circle. Backhand pass. Bounces high in the air and in behind the net. Picked up by Ainsworth. He'll flip it along the boards. Pinching in is Engstrom. Engstrom to Mankies. Mankies goes to Robidoux behind the net. Matt circles. Still 28 seconds. Robidoux looks right in front to Carroll, but it bounces away to the blue line. Kept in by Park. Park flips it around the boards. It'll go to Robidoux all the way around on the other side. Matt takes it in the circle. Matt Robidoux with it. Back to the point. Engstrom. Tad Engstrom fakes the shot, goes to Robidoux. Winds it. No, he didn't shoot. He skirts in front, and he goes to Carroll, and somebody got a stick on it and just deflected it. Otherwise, Brian Carroll would have had a wide open net. Here's Mankies circling in front, trying to center it. It's knocked away. Comes to the blue line. Park winds up his shot. He fired it wide. And the puck goes in behind as they battle for it. And the whistle blows. And what did the whistle blow for?
Well, because the Massena player took the Canton goaltender, got in behind him, going for the puck, and he just kind of pushed the Canton goaltender, James Frank, right out of the crease area.
But what's the call?
I don't know whether it's goaltender
pushing the goalie
in the crease or whatever. I don't know what the call is. I don't think he wanted to call something, but he didn't know what, so it's just going to be a face-off outside. But some great, good job out there. David Park, again, another excellent job on the point, on that power play.
Raiders with chances, but again, they just couldn't get one in on that power play. Puck deep in the Massena zone now. The puck comes to Corey Chase, back to the point. Here's a shot, kind of a weak one, but it doesn't get through, and the puck goes along the boards, back to the point again. The Raiders look to move it out, and do. Out to center ice it goes. Back after Peter Smith, the Canton defenseman. He flips it ahead to the neutral zone. And they battle for it there. John Parks comes up with it. He takes it into the Massena zone, and he fanned on the shot, and the puck goes into the corner. They battle for it there, and we have a whistle, and I think we're going to have a penalty in the corner. And who's the call going to be on Massena this time, I believe?
It is going to be on Massena. It's going to be in Francia, probably called holding. Raiders giving up that blue line, Jerry, too easily. Number 8, big Parks. John Parks is just gaining the line with not a white shirt around. When that puck's in that neutral zone, they got to come up on that blue line, especially that strong side defenseman. When you got a couple of wingers back to help you, come up in that blue line and force that play. Don't give that blue line up so easily.
So holding the call on Francia. So the Raiders will see if they can kill off a power play as John Parks comes out to face off against Engstrom. In the Massena zone, off the draw. Engstrom wins the draw and flips it out to center ice. LaPointe almost kept it in, but couldn't. LaPointe moves it ahead. They take it across, and offsides will be the call as Parks was way deep in the zone.
I'll tell you, that line of Parks and along with Chase, and they had Mark Smith in the first game. They had all 4 goals, and they had 10 points. Corey Chase with 2 goals and 2 assists. John Parks, no goals but 3 assists. And Mark Smith with 2 goals and an assist.
Off the faceoff, Raiders win the draw and flip it back out to neutral ice. Back in the zone, across the blue line it comes. Golden Bears control at the blue line. LaPointe takes a shot. Meacham makes a save and kind of bobbled it a little and dives on it. Kind of a knuckleball going through. And he'll hold on for the faceoff.
Both these clubs, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, know the importance of this game. Wanting that division championship and that number 1 seed that goes with it. 1 and 2 get home ice advantage, and that's so important.
4:05 left in the period. 1-0 on the Evergreen Memorial scoreboard for Massena. Off the faceoff, comes back to the point. Around the horn they go. Back to the point again. That's White with it. White battling with Rochford right at the blue line, just inside the blue line, and finally he manages to tie up the puck, and we'll have a faceoff. A good job again by Paul Rochford.
Chewed up some time, still 59 seconds, plenty of time for the Bears. The Raiders very, very successful on the killing this year. They've only allowed 6 power play goals on 63 opportunities for the opposition, 9.5 success rate.
Off the face-off, puck out to center ice. Bears try to control, and they flip it to Parks at the blue line. He just crosses, knocked away, back out to center ice. Kind of an excuse-me pass that was intercepted. Back after it is White again, Nick White. He'll flip it on the other side for Jason Briggs. Briggs, headman, goes to LaPointe. He takes it across and dumps it deep. David Parks racing after it. He'll not get there, though. It comes to Corey Chase. Chase in the corner, knocked away by Carroll. Carroll just flips it around the boards. It'll come back by the blue line, and it's kept in at the point by LaPointe. Along the boards it goes. LaPointe again winds up his shot way wide. Puck bounces into the corner. They move it back to the point. LaPointe on the fly. He loses it. Here comes Rochford with it. But it kind of bounced away. He makes the move at the blue line, takes it across, got knocked down, bounces free, still in there. Engstrom battling for it. Rochford gets a piece of it. Rochford just looks to waste time and dumps it. And that'll take care of the penalty. Outstanding play by Rochford and also Engstrom in there. So the Raiders kill one off here as well. Raiders still lead 1-0 with 2:40 remaining in the first period. Ian Francia with it. Headman pass to Jobe. He just trickles it ahead. It's intercepted. Back comes Canton. That's Mark Smith with it. Flips it across the blue line into the zone. Here's a chance in front, but it goes off a leg as Donnelly tried to barge his way through. Now bounces free. Brian Carroll, stick handling, has it knocked away. They try to center it, and Meacham's going to grab it as it's coming by and hold on for the faceoff.
Sure, you can't measure, I can't put it in words, the value of a guy like, Paul Rochefort and Tad Engstrom, just to mention, too, what they mean to their team. Paul Rochefort, we saw him, he got, last week, Friday, bruised ribs up in Seton. He could hardly breathe, and he's back out here tonight, and he just did an excellent job killing that penalty. Just got blindsided down here by David LaPointe. He knocked his glove off, but he didn't, he just kept digging for that puck. What an inspirational leader, number 23. Paul Rochefort is for the Massena Red Raiders.
That's why he's the captain, I think.
Oh, boy.
Off the face-off. Steve Smith flips it along the boards. Comes to Robidoux. Robidoux to Mankies. Mankies takes it across to Robidoux. Robidoux trying to split the D. Here comes Robidoux. Takes it right in front. The shot saved Frank, and it bounces into the corner. Didn't have much to shoot at that time. Robidoux, throws a wicked check in behind the net. Francia keeps the puck in. Rips it around the boards. Robidoux gathers it in again, lost it off the end of his stick, keeping it at his Mankies momentarily, comes out by the blue line, and it's still in there. Here's Mankies, gets by the D, he gets tied up, Frank pinches it ahead. Should have been a penalty, and the puck bounces free. You can hear the crowd calling for the penalty, and they don't call it for some reason, and the puck comes in the Massena zone, back out to center ice. It comes to Robidoux. He'll circle back and look up ice, flips it ahead to Steve Smith. Here's Smith, takes it across the red line, then overskated it as he got tied up. Now there's pushing and shoving going on. Robidoux gets a piece of it, looks for the puck. It pokes free. He drops it back to the blue line. Here comes Mankies. Mankies goes by one, takes it across. Here's Mankies overskated. The bouncing puck. Jobe throws a check, the shot, and Frank makes the glove save on the shot from Ian Francia. 1:09 left in the period, and it's 1-0 Raiders. And our broadcast is brought to you by Tony's Pizza, located in Massena. Also by Tri-Lakes Home Medical Equipment on East Orvis Street, and by Nationwide Insurance and your local Nationwide agents, Robert Adams and Robert White on East Orvis Street.
I tell you, the opposition has had 151.5 minutes of penalties against Massena this year, and they should have had another minute and a half right there. That was an obvious call. Steve Mankies picks up that loose puck. He's in free, and the Canton defenseman hooks him, spins him around, and it impedes his shot to get an excellent scoring opportunity. No call. Canton really caught a break on that one.
Whitcup will take the face-off. Off the draw, puck in front. Nathan can't get the shot off. It bounces free. Nathan goes after it. In the corner now, along the boards. Brown throws a check, and the puck bounces to the blue line. We're going to have, I don't know what we're going to have.
Yeah, he's calling a...
But the hand pass was by Canton.
No, he's calling penalties. That's what he's going to do.
All right.
Penalty each. That's
Matt Brown and the Canton player. I will pick up who is that, Corey Chase or John Parks? Tall, whoever it is.
Yeah, tall, that's right.
It's one of the two.
One is about...
It's Chase.
Is it Chase?
Yeah.
9 versus 8. But Corey Chase, he's only 6'5". And again, he's like David Park. And you put a pair of skates on him, another 2.5 inches. I'll tell you, he looks like Ichabod Crane out there. He's...
So the face-off will come just inside the Canton zone. It'll be 4-on-4 plus the goaltenders. Raiders lead 1-0 here. We're in the final minute of period number 1. Let's see here. Engstrom will take the draw for Massena. And Chase gets the call for probably both for roughing, I would guess. Off the draw, puck out by the blue line, and here comes Canton. Good play made by Parks. Here comes Parks, breaks in, shot, score! The Massena defenseman went after the puck, and Parks poked it by him and went in on the breakaway and beat Meacham to tie this thing up.
Face-off just at the blue line, and just came outside of the blue line, as you mentioned. The Massena defenseman elected to go after. Discretion is a better part of valor. And he thought he could get the puck, but you can't gamble and lose there. And number 8, John Parks, we talk about his excellent speed, and he just kind of poked it by the Raider defenseman just outside the blue line, and he was away to the races and waltzed right in. And from about 15 feet, he blasted a wrist shot up over the. I believe it beat him between the over the right shoulder, but.
Here comes Engstrom off the ensuing faceoff, takes it in the corner, gets tied up, and the puck squirts free, picked up by Jason Briggs. To the blue line and out to center ice. David Park picks it up, has it knocked away, swept away, and back the other way come the Golden Bears into the Massena zone. It bounces free in behind the net to David Park. We've got John Parks and David Park. David Park picks it up and headman too far, and they wave the icing off with 20 seconds remaining. Back after Dave Lapointe. Lapointe breaks out of his own zone. Long headman pass knocked away by David Park from Massena. Back the other way comes John Parks. Doesn't get it in the zone that time. And the puck bounces to the Canton line with 7 seconds left. They move it ahead, deflected inside Massena territory. That's going to take care of the period. So the Golden Bears get a late goal to tie this one up. And we'll go to the locker room tied at a goal apiece. Again, a 1-1 tie.
Especially on that power play. When the Raiders gain the zone, they throw it around. They just look awesome out there. And that's quite a staff that Coach Latham has assembled. Goaltender coach Craig Siddon, assistant coach Brian Levine, who works mainly with the defense, and assistant coach Hurlbut that works mainly with the forwards, and they do an excellent job.
Yep, so Natalie Hurlbut celebrating her 3rd birthday today. Natalie, happy birthday to you.
And we could sing her a little line of happy birthday, but she's probably not listening. Do you think Natalie's listening?
I don't know if she is, but I'm not going to sing.
Oh, well, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Natalie. Happy birthday to you.
That's pretty good, Coach. You're a man of many talents.
Yeah, sure.
A man of many talents. And I'll tell you what, I was impressed with that photo I saw before the game.
Hey, that was a nice one, wasn't it?
Yes, indeed. A picture when you were coaching Holy Family.
Yeah, back, that was a few years ago.
A little more hair.
Reg brought that up to us, and he said, who's that? I said, I recognize the player, but I don't know who the other guy is.
That's right, it was Timmy Cameron. We're underway here in the period. Brian Carroll off the faceoff, dumps it deep. Canton territory. 1-1 tie hockey game here as we start the second period. Massena Canton. Golden Bears controlling their own end. Mankey steals it in front of the net, and he can't quite get a hold of it. And Frank poke checks it ahead. Steve Mankeys, now he's got the puck again. Here's Mankeys, dangling into the corner, gets a shot off, but it's blocked, gets it right back again, steps by the defenseman, finally poke checked away by David Lapointe. Ainsworth now knocks it into the corner, and Robidoux goes after it. Matt steps in front, flips to Mankeys. Mankeys has it knocked away. Bouncing puck in the corner. Mankeys throws a check and steals the puck. Actually knocked the guy's stick right out of his hand. But the puck squirts away and is picked up by John Parks. Parks has it knocked away. Back to the blue line. David Park winds up. Here's the shot. Save made. And a good one. And the Bears are just going to ice it as they are tired. Raiders come out like gangbusters here.
And Steve Mankeys was a force unto himself out there. He just robbed and took it right off the Golden Bear player one after another, and just some good hard work out there. Almost paid dividends for the Raiders, but could not beat goaltender Jason Frank.
Frank made a couple of good saves in that little bit of play here. Paul Rochford coming out to take the face-off now for the Raiders. It's flipped high in the air, bounces to center ice. Steve Smith back after it, picks it up at his own blue line, then flips it right back in. And somebody touched on the way through. They waved the icing off, goes in behind the net. Picked up there by Peter Smith, rounds the boards with it, ahead to Chase. Chase dumps it, and he hit the official with it. Or that's not Chase, that's Pat Ryan. I didn't think he was tall enough to be Chase. Ryan's a big kid, but he's not as big as Chase. And the Raiders going to be called for offsides as what happened was Angstrom kind of directed it in the zone. Rochford was in there, and Angstrom never touched it again. Got out of the zone, but they did call the offsides anyway. Kind of an anticipation call.
Face off just outside the Canton blue line.
Angstrom off the draw, poked away, comes to Francie at the red line. He'll dump it in the Canton zone. Golden Bears move it back to the Massena line. Smith intercepts and in turn has it taken away. Here comes Mike Donnelly. Drop pass, knocked away to the blue line in the zone. They bounce it, it goes into the circle and back to the point. Here's the shot. Through traffic is wide. It'll come to Rochford. He just pokes it down the ice. Will it go far enough for icing? I don't believe it's going to make it. Now they wave the icing off and the Golden Bears will pick it up in their own end. Raiders and the Bears are tied up at 1. Francia whacks it from the red line right back in the zone. Raiders clear. Golden Bears will move it, though, to the blue line, out to center ice. Francia again steps across the red line, dumps it back in the Canton zone. Kept in there. Here's Robbie Whitcup trying to barge his way through. Puck clear to the blue line, kept in. Francia whacks at it, goes wide into the corner. Matt Brown racing after it there for Massena. Brown gets checked out of the play by the defenseman White. The puck along the boards, and now they tie it up, and we'll have a face-off and a whistle. 1-1 tie hockey game, 12:35 left. Broadcast also brought to you by North Country Savings Bank. Is Wall Street taking you on the ride of your life? Well, now is the time to open a safe and secure North Country Savings Bank high-interest certificate of deposit. Stop it at any location, Canton, Potsdam, Massena, or Ogdensburg. Face-off right side, inside Canton territory. Here's Carroll's shot, knocked off, and it comes out to center ice. Horan gets a piece of it, has it poked away, and down the ice it goes. Parker after it, but he's not going to catch it, and icing will be the call against Canton.
Both clubs, as far as defensive zone coverage, I'm sure coaching staff said, again, no mental breakdowns. If you're not sure, just hoist it out there, take the icing. And on the offensive side, you can see that both clubs are trying to get, especially Massena, get the puck in deep. They don't want to play between the blue lines. Get it in deep and get in and press on top of that defense the way that they opened up the period, Steve Menkes, when he was just forechecking the Canton defenseman.
Off the face-off, Golden Bears control, try to move it out. Here's Horan, winds up his shot, save, rebound, bounces in front, and it's cleared into the corner. Pinching in is Carroll, keeps it in the zone, flips it in behind the net. Good shot by Horn. Puck around the boards. Canton defenseman Hayes moves it ahead to the blue line, kept in at the point. Again by Horan. Puck cleared to the blue line again, bounces into the corner. Picked up there by Bridges, and he clears but not out of the zone. Carroll keeps it in, flips it into the circle. Knocked away, Carroll keeps it in again. Poke checks it in the corner. Nathan Whitcup trying to center it, but it's knocked away, and the Bears are going to move it ahead. Stick handling out to center ice. Here comes Jason Briggs. Briggs flips it ahead. Styles Bridges, his shot high over the net. Puck along the boards into the corner as they battle for it there. It bounces free. Brown flips it ahead, and out to center ice it comes. Picked up by Hayes, dumps it back into the Massena zone. Brian Carroll is there. Carroll looks up ice and then bangs it off the boards to Brown. He just knocks it ahead and down the ice, and they wave the icing off again. Massena's going to make a line change as the Bears pick it up. That's Nick White. White's head man just gets across the blue line. Here come the Bears into the zone. Bridges with it, takes it wide. He's ridden out of the play. Joe picks it up to Robidoux. Robidoux pokes it ahead. Here's Robidoux 2-on-1. He's got Menkes. Robidoux winds up the big shot. Save made. The rebound in the corner. Bounces around. Robidoux battles for it again along with Menkes. It's under the Canton defenseman who's laying on top of it, and they'll hold on for the faceoff.
Matt Robidoux picking up that loose puck in the neutral zone, breaking away with Steve Menkes on a 2-on-1 situation. Elected to use. Steve Menkes has a decoy. Thought Big Mac could have got in a little deeper, but he elected to crank one up from just inside the top of the circle, and probably would have beaten James Frank, but he put it right in the old breadbasket.
Yeah, the defenseman had sloughed off to cover Menkes, which is what he's supposed to do, and leave the shooter to the goaltender.
Yeah, and I think Matt just too soon decided he was going to shoot. He could have gone a little deeper.
Face off in the zone. Menkes wins the draw to Robidoux, barges his way through. Robidoux takes the backhander, can't get the shot of Frank's way out of the net, and covers up the puck.
Oh boy.
I tell you.
Matt Robidoux coming off the boards, picking up that loose puck, and it rolled off his stick, and he swung around 180 degrees from forehand to backhand, and just, if he could have got some lumber on that, he had James Frank down and out of the net. We got a penalty coming here.
Steve Menkes gets a slashing call. Oh boy.
Raider coaching staff. Again, we got to take our blinders off, Jerry, because we're missing a game. I didn't see that one either.
No.
Referee Joe Ippolito making the call, and
so the Raiders will have to try to kill one off here. Golden Bears go on the power play. Mankies gets a slashing call. Okay. Here comes Canton into the Massena zone. They dump it deep. In the corner it goes. Hard check thrown there by Steve Smith. Puck bounces free. Picked up by LaPointe. He flips it along the boards to Ryan. Back to the point as they move it around. Here's a shot knocked down by Robidoux. Robidoux overskates and picks it up. Wastes a little time. Moves it ahead. Finally, it's knocked back in the Massena zone. It'll come right in on Meacham. And he's going to cover it up and hold on for the faceoff. Robidoux almost busted free.
I'm sure the thought crossed the Raider coaching mind to referee Ippolito. You have those eagle eyes. You saw that one, but you missed that one down in that first period when Steve Mankies was in all alone and didn't call the hooking. But sometimes things are a little clearer than at other times.
John Parks against Matt Robidoux off the faceoff, back to the point. Puck dumped into the corner. And it bounces right in front and is cleared out to center ice as Robidoux gathered it in and dumped it down the ice. Trickles back inside Canton territory. Job throws a check and steals the puck and has it run off the end of his stick as he got kind of held. Isn't there such a penalty as holding the stick?
Well, he finally was forced to call one here. I think the crowd called this one as the Raider player Job was hooked, and he didn't call that one, no, but he called the second one after the crowd yelled, and Canton is going to pick up a penalty.
That'll even things up here. 38 seconds left in the Massena penalty. 10 minutes even in the period. We're all tied at a goal apiece. Our broadcast also brought to you by Upstate Telecom and Audio, featuring car starters and, of course, Cellular One service, our Cellular One provider. And they also have car audio at Upstate Telecom. Also, Seaway Orthopedics, located on Outer Andrew Street in Massena, another one of our sponsors.
Matt Job, excellent job drawing that penalty.
Off the face-off, Carroll goes to Park. Park winds his shot deflected into the wall. And Park just took a little bit too much time, allowed Mark Smith to come over and put a stick in front.
Matt Job, we've talked about him many times, but how he really has blossomed here and about halfway through the season, Jerry, when he's been put on that line with Matt Robidoux at center and Steve Mankies on the left side. He's really come into his own.
Angstrom will take the faceoff. The Bears win the draw, though, and they move it ahead out to center ice to the Massena line, and it's dumped deep in Massena territory. Puck goes in behind the net. Meacham stops it, leaves it for David Park. He circles around, starts out left side. On the boards ahead. Meant for Angstrom, a little bit too far, dumped right back in. Again, this time Carroll. Carroll will start out left side. This time he goes cross ice to Rochford too far. It'll be picked up by Peter Smith. Dumps it ahead to the Massena line. Mark Smith across the blue line into the zone, offsides, or what do they call that? Offsides.
Jason Briggs talking to Coach Hewitt before the game. He's been really pleased with this youngster. He's not very big, about 5'7", 145 pounds, but he is, Coach Hewitt, very impressed with him, and I can see why. He's looked sharp out here tonight. Got soft hands and sees the ice. It's a good-looking hockey player.
1 second left in the Massena penalty, so the Raiders will be on a short power play here in a moment. Angstrom, no, Robidoux will take the face-off now against Briggs. Off the draw, puck comes to the red line, dumped back in the Massena zone. Raiders get Mankies back, and they're on the power play. Puck knocked away. Angstrom comes back to help out. Now Park flips it to the side of the net, and Angstrom picks up the puck. Here's Angstrom, turning it around, flipping it ahead to David Park, picks it up to Robidoux to Carroll. Carroll circles, takes it across wide right, flips it around behind the net, and in the corner it goes. Carroll, after it still, kicks it free, goes to Robidoux. Robidoux looks to move it back to Angstrom at the point. Angstrom takes it right down the middle, lost it off the end of his stick, and out to center ice it comes. David Park throws it away. Here come the Golden Bears. That's Briggs with it. Briggs trying to go wide, has it knocked off his stick by David Park. Clear to the blue line, out to center ice, back in the zone, but offsides will be called. And again, I don't know that anybody from Canton touched that. Why they call that offsides, I don't know.
An excellent job by Jason Briggs along with number 14, Mark Smith. They've kind of disrupted the flow pattern for the Raiders, and Coach Latham didn't like what he see out there. He's making a change, coming out with Rocheford, Converse, and Michaud.
And now, yeah.
That's a new power play combination.
Well, there's only 4 seconds left in the power play.
Oh, that's right.
This will be, I think, the first time we've seen Converse tonight, isn't it?
Second time.
Second time, okay. Of course, we've had a lot of penalties in this game, and that kind of makes the combinations. Francia gets knocked down by Chase. Puck in behind. Michaud comes in to help out. Now Francia's back up, and Chase goes down, and Michaud picks up the puck. Good job by Aaron Michaud to help out his defenseman that time. Moves it ahead to Converse, flips to the Canton line, intercepted there. Back come the Golden Bears. They dump it around the boards. Into the corner it goes. Converse back after it. He'll pick it up and circle behind his own net. Here's Converse, flipping it ahead to Rochefort. Just bangs it by the defenseman. Here's Converse after it. Throws a check and it goes in ahead of the play. Again, they call the offsides and nobody touched the puck. Did they change the rules on me?
Anticipation. Isn't there a song?
Carly Simon.
Anticipation. Well, Carly Simon must be a Joe Appolito's a big fan of Carly Simon because he anticipated the offside.
1-1 tie hockey game. That's about the third or fourth they've called like that. 7:55 remaining in the second period. A 1-1 tie hockey game on the Evergreen Memorial scoreboard.
I thought young Mr. Converse was going to tip that puck by him, and I think he elected to flatten the Canton player, but if he would have tipped it by him,
Here comes Francia making a move into the zone. Ian Francia taken out of the play, but Michaud comes up with a puck in behind the net. Here's Michaud battling for it along with Converse. They fight for the puck, and it squirts free, and it's going to be picked up by Ainsworth. Ainsworth moves it along the boards, center ice, dumped right back in by Francia. And again, the offside's called. I think that time, though, Converse touched it. Maybe not.
I thought he was going to call an intentional offside for a second, but again, that got a little rise out of the Raiders bench, but evidently was touched. I thought they had cleared the zone. 7:33 left in the second period. 1-1 hockey game.
Just about the halfway point of the hockey game. Ian Francia with a puck, bangs it ahead to Rochefort. He just backhands it deep in Canton territory. He's going right in on Frank, and he's going to cover up and hold on for the face-off.
And you can tell that both goaltenders, Coach Roger Hewitt and just told James Frank, anything loose around there you cover up, we'll take a face-off, and the same thing with Matt Meacham. They're not taking any chances.
Aaron Michaud will take the draw in the Canton zone against Mark Smith off the face-off. Puck goes into the corner, picked up by David Lapointe for Canton, moves it to the boards and out to center ice. Francia, no, it's going to be Rochefort coming back, trying to take a whack at it, but it's intercepted. Ryan takes it across, lost it, gets it back again. He falls down. There's going to be a penalty. On who?
On Massena.
Oh, boy. Again, Pat Ryan just kind of fell down, and Michaud's going to pick up the penalty for tripping.
Aaron Michaud picking up the call here with 7:10, and the Bears going back on the power play and bringing that unit of Corey Chase, John Parks, along with Jason Briggs up front, and on defense, number 4, David Lapointe, number 5, Nick White. And it's a pretty potent-looking power play, Jerry.
Raiders will send Matt Robidoux out there to try to kill it off, along with Matt Jobe. Steve Smith is one of the defensemen, and who's the other one? Kevin Horan, I believe. Here's Parks, or Corey Chase rather, drops it back to the point, to David Lapointe. He flips it on the 45, Chase with it. Stick hand, no, that's Parks. Here's the shot, sharp angle. He fired it wide. The puck whistles all the way back to the point and out to center ice, as White kind of reached for it and just couldn't get the handle. Now the Bears dump it right back in the Massena zone. Stopped in behind the net by Meacham. Leaves it for Steve Smith, who rounds the boards with it, but stepping in front is John Parks. Parks takes it into the corner, circles, looking to set it up, goes back to the point, David Lapointe. For Canton, goes to Parks. Parks at the 45, top of the circle, right side of the goalie. Then he flips it in the corner. He gets it right back again. 45 seconds back to David Lapointe. Winds up his shot. Save, rebound, score! Meacham made the initial save, but the forward parked off the 45, just followed up, and the Golden Bears score a power play goal to take the lead 2-1.
And just a great low shot from Dave Lapointe at the point, and number 10, Jason Briggs is going to get the goal, but the shot set it up. It was back to the point. The Bears worked it around, got it back to LaPointe. Dave LaPointe, he fired a nice low shot through a little bit of traffic. Meacham made the save, but just lurking off, as you mentioned, off to the right of goaltender Matt Meacham was number 10, Jason Briggs, and he just shoveled it in an empty side, and the Bears up 2-1 with 6:20 left in the period.
Off the faceoff, puck comes to the Massena line. Carroll just kind of swipes it ahead, gets it right back again. Job ahead to Mankies. Mankies can't gather it in, dump back in the Massena zone. Brian Carroll flips it ahead on the wing to Mankies, who just deflects it, goes right back in the zone. In behind the net, it goes to David Park. Park bangs it ahead to the blue line, but not out of the zone. Picked up there by the Golden Bears. Briggs, nice drop pass. Here's a shot knocked down, goes into the corner. Bears in behind the net, battling for it. Raiders cleared around, but it's going to be Briggs picking it up, but he threw it away, and Job picks up gathers it in and starts down the left wing side. Matt Job busting in, drop pass to Mankies. He's got room, he shoots, and the save is made, and a great save through traffic. Job in the corner, back to Mankies, steps in front, gets a shot, the rebound sits side of the net, and no, he didn't cover up. Robidoux gets knocked down, the bouncing puck cleared out to center ice. Big scramble in front of the net, and the Raiders did everything but score that time.
And I didn't get the number, but a great job by the Canton defenders. He flattened Matt Robidoux as he...
Here comes Canton. Briggs has it knocked away. Mankies moves it ahead to Robidoux. Robidoux takes it across, makes his move. Here's Robidoux. Gets it by one, by two. Here's Robidoux in front, shot, Job, score! On a great play by Matt Robidoux as he beat two Canton defensemen and found Job breaking to the net, and it's 2-2.
Oh boy, just that youngster has so many outstanding moves, and the last guy that he beat was number 5, Nick White, and that left side down low and just turned him inside out, and as the weak side defenseman went to him, he slid it over to Matt Job, who went to the net without the puck, and he had an empty side to shovel that baby into. So the Raiders have ignited this crowd somewhat and tied this game up with 5:03 just after the Bears had gone ahead on a power play goal at the 8:40 mark. This one coming at the 9:57. Matt Job getting the goal, and he's picked up his 6th goal of the year.
I'll tell you what, here comes Canton back the other way. We'll try to save that thought. In behind the net, Francia. The puck bounces right in front, but the Raiders' Smith is going to move it ahead to the blue line. Not out of the zone. Bounces to Francia. He'll pick it up, though. Here's Francia to Angstrom. Angstrom loses it. Dumped right on, and the save made. Bounced off the glass and out to center ice. And dumped right back in the Massena zone.
Canton went ahead at 8:40 mark with Jason Briggs, and the Raiders tying it up at 9:57 to 6th of the year. Matt Job from Robidoux and Park.
Off the faceoff, puck controlled by Steve Smith. Smith lost it off the end of his stick, sits in front. Now it's clear to Rochford. He moves it and just pokes it ahead out to center ice. Golden Bears move it back to the Massena line, intercepted. Rochford Dipsy Doodles takes it by one, takes it across, has it swept away. The bouncing puck, Converse racing for it, trying to poke it by the Canton defenseman, but it's cleared out to the blue line and out to center ice. Here comes John Parks with it. No, excuse me, that's not. The centering pass in front cleared into the corner by the Red Raiders. That was Mike Fisher. Fisher wears 18, not 8. Now it's Rochford banging it ahead. And we got another penalty on Massena, I believe.
Yep.
And I didn't see it. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
From your reaction, you don't sound like you're too happy about it.
Well, it's going to be an interference call against Ian Francia, but I think the Canton player he did a good job. He'd get about a 9-5 on the dive ratio, but referee Joe Eppolito saw him go down, and no question that Ian Francia did impede him. Play had gone the other way, and you hate to see those penalties. Had gone the other way, and the only two guys back in the Massena zone were Ian Francia and the Canton forward, and Ian got the stick to him and
called it tripping.
Yeah, you can tripping, interference, whatever you want. You can call it a multitude of things, but Raiders are really going to have to toughen up. We mentioned special teams, one of their forte this year, and especially killing, but they did give up a power play goal in the last penalty, so they've got to really buckle down. 3:42 left in the second period, 2-2 hockey game.
Robidoux off the faceoff, comes to the Canton line, picked up there by Nick White. He'll flip it on the other side to David LaPointe, who dumps it in the Massena zone. Steve Smith is there to flip it right back out to center ice, right back to the Massena zone. This time David Park flips it down the ice. And it bounces by White inside Canton territory. The goaltender stops it behind the net. White picks it up. Robidoux almost stole it from him. but White gathers it back in and moves it ahead. Here comes Jason Briggs with it. His pass knocked down and cleared, fired down the ice right on net, and Franks has to make a save. Puck in the corner, Robidoux after it, steals the puck. Here's Robidoux, knocked away, and bouncing back out, it comes to Mark Smith. Smith flipping it ahead to Chase. Or that's not Chase, excuse me, that's we'll pick it up in a moment, but the puck comes back to the blue line. Here's LaPointe, quick shot, save made, rebound, sits in front, and it's kicked right on, and the save is made, but it wouldn't have been a goal anyway, as the Canton player kicked it. That was Ryan, Pat Ryan. He had lost his stick.
The Raiders caught a break there because Pat Ryan is all alone in front of Matt Misha. Oh my goodness gracious! I wonder why doesn't he shoot it? Well, he didn't have a stick. I couldn't believe
so
it.
So he kicked it.
He and Matt Meacham. I don't know where he lost it, but fortunately for the Raiders,
behind the net. Off the face-off, here's Chase back to the point. The shot through traffic. Meacham makes the save and dives on top of it and holds on for the face-off.
Canton has done an excellent job throughout the game, not only on power plays, but on regular shifts, Jerry, even up strength, at getting the puck back to the point, and they take the shots, and 8 out of 10 times it's on the net. Yeah, it gets through, and a lot of traffic in front. They're creating a lot of traffic in front of Matt Meacham.
Off the face-off, Raiders win this draw. In the corner, Carroll has it stolen away. Here is Parks back to the point, or that's Chase, rather. Gets it back again at the 45. Goes back to the point. Here's a shot through traffic right on, and Meacham makes the save. He had some traffic right in front of him, too.
Had some traffic, but as the Canton forward went to the net, Kevin Horn had him tied up, and that's what you want to do, and he allowed his goaltender to see the puck coming through. Kevin Horn, just a sophomore, and he's, we mentioned many times, he's got a lot of promise. Very heads-up hockey player out there.
Face-off right side. Raiders win the draw. This time they don't clear it again. Carroll tried to, and it was kept in by LaPointe. Goes in the corner, Chase. In behind, Parks had fallen down. Now Chase has to take it out of the corner again. 5 seconds left in the man advantage. Back to the point. Here's a shot blocked. And here comes Menkes. Menkes trying to bust by. He gets hauled down. There's going to be a penalty on Canton. And the Raiders will go on the power play as the Golden Bear defenseman, I think that was Dave LaPointe, made a little bit of a mistake at his own blue line, allowed Menkes to kind of poke it by him, but he had to make the penalty or take the penalty to save a breakaway.
Well, and Steve Menkes went to school on the Canton player before, an acting class, as he over-embellished the dive, and that's what Menkes did, and helped the referee to make that call. He went down, he was being impeded by the Canton player.
A 3-minute penalty.
Oh, he must have said something to the official. Maybe that's just a
1-1. Okay. All right. I don't know. I'm not going to even speculate on why that's 3 minutes instead of 1.5. Because I mean, it was Dave LaPointe. He's not the kind of guy that would say anything.
Well, wait and see. Well, if there's an unsportsmanlike attack on there.
Yeah, that's what it is. Off the face-off, Raiders on the power play. Angstrom with it, flips it to Robidoux. Robidoux steps in front of the net, has it poked away, gets it back again. Takes it to the blue line to Park. David Park to Carroll. Carroll back to Park. Winds up through traffic. Save made by Frankie. Saw that one all the way.
Got to get some traffic in front.
Robidoux in the corner has it poke checked away nicely by Nick White. He'll flip it around the boards. Raiders have a double minor to try to do something with. Puck in the circle. Comes to the blue line, not out of the zone. Menkes with it. He gets tied up. Carroll comes in, tries to come up with a puck. It's poked free, comes to Carroll. Carroll back to the circle. Circles, takes it in front, shot, save made. Big rebound cleared by Canton behind the net. And they're going to dump it, not out of the zone. Bouncing puck, Robidoux. Robidoux gathers it in, has it knocked away. In behind, Mark Smith with it. Runs into traffic, it's tied up. The puck is free, is it or isn't it? It's tied up. Apparently it's still free, and finally they blow the whistle.
Raiders doing an excellent job of doubling the puck carrier. When you've got a man advantage, you want to double that guy with a puck, and Matt Robidoux kept it in, a good job, and then I think that was Menkes down there and Brian Carroll who forcing the face-off down low in the Canton zone.
Raiders are going to have a power play for the rest of this period. 2:04 left unless they score one after the first penalty is elapsed. Off the draw, Robidoux back to Angstrom. Angstrom back to Robidoux. Robidoux overskated, has to come back after it. Here's Robidoux flipping it around in behind. And they tie it up in the corner. It pokes free. They still battle for it. Where is it? It's still free, apparently. And finally, it's picked up, and a good job by Peter Smith. Did a great job that time of battling the two Raider forwards and coming up with a puck and dumping it down the ice.
Excellent job by Peter Smith, only a junior.
Here comes David Park with a puck out of his own end. Drops it back to Angstrom. Tad skates it ahead. Takes it across on the left wing side. Here's Angstrom with it. Has it knocked away. Puck bounced back out to center ice. The Raider power play is sputtering right now. I think they're almost trying too hard.
I agree.
Here's Carroll with it. Carroll's going to take it across. Out by the blue line. Trying to center it. Mankey's just ran by his stick. Mankey's in the corner. Has it knocked off his stick. Puck bounces free. Mankey's trying to go back to the blue line. Can't get it. It's out to center ice. And a good play made by White, and he just flips it down the ice. That's going to take care of the period. And we're going to have a whistle.
Steve Menkes is going to get a roughing call. You can't do that. After whether he's frustration showing through with not being able to succeed on the power play, but he just gave number 5, Nick White, a chop right down and right in front of the penalty box, and so it negates the last 56 seconds of the power play and put Canton on one for 34 seconds in that third period.
So we're tied at 2 here near the end of period number 2. 3 seconds left in the period. So very important face-off here for Massena with a face-off back in their own end.
Yes, there's plenty of time to see the Bears. No, they don't elect to pull the goaltender. A lot of coaches would in this situation, but not Roger Hewitt.
Raiders win the face-off. Here's a shot from the point, bounces on. That was a little, who was running the clock? Whoever it was. We're going to take a break here, and we'll be back with the statistics of period. Is that Parks? Yeah, it is. Off the draw. The puck comes to the Massena blue line. Carroll, he steps across the red line. He's going to take it in the zone. Puck gets away from him, and Corey Chase picks it up. Chase, big, tall, gangly kid, moves it out to center ice. Has the puck knocked away, trickles to the Massena line, and finally Carroll barrels it ahead. And Matt Jobe races for it. Jobe just trickles it right on, and Frank is going to hold on for the face-off. And you mentioned this before, those goaltenders are going to be very, very careful.
Very careful. Any loose puck around that crease area that they're not sure of that their team can regain possession, they're going to jump on it and hold for the face-off.
Matt Jobe will take the face-off for Massena. Off the draw, Jobe tries to barge his way through. Puck goes into the corner. Golden Bears will pick it up and dump it in behind the net. Picked up there on the defense by Peter Smith. He lifts it high in the air, kept in by David Park. He'll flip it in the corner and then chase it down. Here's Park. He's got room in front. Backhand shot. And it goes in behind the net. Bounces free. Cleared in behind, picked up by Corey Chase. And Chase doesn't clear the zone. He and David Park go together, but the puck squirts free and it's out to center ice. Jonathan Park with it. Into the Massena zone. He'll take it wide to the left side. He gets a sharp angle shot. Save made. Meacham, and he doesn't know where the puck is as he's hurt. And I think the Canton forward came right through the crease. That was Parks and got him right in the face with a stick.
Well, the whistle blew, but the puck was loose, and I think John Park saw the puck, and he went for the loose puck.
And he's going to get the gate, and so is David Park for defending his goaltender, basically.
Exactly. Park will get it for slashing the goaltender. David Park coming to the aid of Matt Meacham. Just David Park down at the other end just a second ago had a great opportunity as Matt Jobe had the Canton defenseman tied up in front. Park worked his way out of the left corner and walked right out. Could have walked right out in front. He elected to shoot a backhander from a pretty sharp angle, but he could have walked right out in front and had stared James Frank down. But again, David's a defenseman. He's not a forward. So
they kind of messed up the clock here as Massena's still got some penalty time on the Menkes penalty. And so it should be 5-on-4 is what it should be. We'll see if that's the case.
Let's see what time did Steve Menkes go in the box in the 14:57. So he had a minute 23. Definitely, he's. So we're doing our math here. What are we? 57. He's got about 26 seconds.
26 seconds left in the in his penalty. Now they put the. Now what you're going to do is you wipe the two matching minors. There we go. And they're going to have to put 26 seconds up on Menkes' side.
See if.
But anyway, it's going to be a power play.
Work his fingers and toes down there. Whoever's running the clock.
Well, they put 30 seconds up, and how much should it be?
I think it's 26.
26.
Oh boy, that's
6 seconds worth of Oh, boy, that'll be... I think
my math is
they
right
got
now.
that wrong. Though it can't be even. We know it can't be even. Now the puck cleared by the Raiders down the ice anyway. And in the corner it goes. Puck around the boards. And Canton's going to be called for controlling with a high stick. That was a delay call, and they had to touch it before they made the call. 20 seconds left in the minor penalty to Mankeys.
Let's just hope that those 4 or 5 seconds don't come into play here. That would be devastating. But
yeah, this is your home rink. You're supposed to get those breaks. The Golden Bears move it out off the face-off. Raiders dump it right back to the Canton line. 10 seconds left in the man advantage. Puck dumped to the Massena line, crosses the line, dumped right, no, not out of there. Carroll trying to clear it. Now he does. And it bounces out to center ice as the penalty has elapsed. Mankeys throws a check right out of the penalty box. And Brian Carroll picks up the puck in his own end. Drops a defensive player, then flips it ahead on the wing to Rochford. Rochford doesn't quite clear it. Dump back in the corner. Carroll after it ahead. Out to center ice. Dump back in again. And is picked up by Steve Smith. Smith rounds the boards with it. Flipped ahead to the blue line, out to center ice, right back in again. Carroll picks it up and starts it ahead for Rochford. Oh, if he had caught that pass, he would have been free. They waved the icing off. He never touched it. And Rochford gets knocked down in the corner. Puck along the boards. Mishaw trying to come up with it. He can't. It bounces along the boards. Mishaw takes a whack at it again. Flips it in behind the net. It'll round into the other corner. Racing for it there is Angstrom. Angstrom gets tied up by the Canton defenseman. That's Ainsworth. The puck bounces to the blue line, not out of the zone. Rochford, he flips it right back in the corner again. It'll go around on the other side as they battle for it. Mishaw gets a piece of it, then gets tied up, and the puck squirts free out to center ice. To the red line, dumped into the Massena zone. Bouncing puck picked up by Steve Smith behind his own net. Has it knocked away. And in behind, it's Angstrom. Angstrom escapes the check, moves it ahead, has it intercepted by Ryan. Ryan trying to center it. Angstrom moves it ahead away from him, and here comes Mishaw with it. Aaron Mishaw trying to slide it in the zone. The bouncing puck picked up by the Canton defense, Peter Smith. Flips it around the boards, intercepted. Angstrom, shot, short side, hit the side of the net with it. Takes it off the back of the net. Back to the point it goes. Horan winds up his shot, deflected right on. It's underneath Frank, and he'll... Is it still free, or did the whistle blow? They're not blowing those whistles very loud, but apparently they did.
Excellent job by number 10, Nathan Whitcup, in forechecking, creating all kinds of havoc for the Canton defensemen, and creating a couple of good scoring opportunities for Massena. But I'll tell you, every mistake is magnified at this juncture, Jerry. Both clubs realizing that. You'll notice we'll probably see a lot of icings or near icings in this period.
Nathan Whitcup to take the face-off, out with Brown, or I should say Robbie Whitcup out with Nathan and Brown. Off the face-off, puck trickles back to the point. Horan winds up his shot. He fired it wide. It'll come back to Francie at the other point. Winds it up, and that's wide. Puck bounces back to Horan at the other point. He'll flip it in the corner, intercepted, and cleared out to center ice. Comes to Ian Francia, bangs it ahead to the blue line, high in the air, bouncing around to the Massena line, and here comes Canton in across. That's Bridges with it, goes by in front, the shot, Meacham makes the save and holds on for the face-off as two Massena defenders went together, and the Canton player picked up the puck and went right by him.
Oh, you took my train of thought exactly, Jerry. Right here at center ice, you want to be aggressive, but again, you want to have two Massena players went to the Canton player and nail him, but let the puck through and created an odd man rush for the Bears, and only a good save by Matt Meacham kept this game tied with 11:25 left in the third period.
Off the faceoff, puck clear to David Park behind the net. Park will drop it for Smith. Smith gets tied up in behind by Chase. The puck cleared around to the blue line. Here's a shot knocked down in front. David Park, headman for Robidoux, too far, and they're going to call that one icing. And the whistle blows, and we'll have a face-off. Robidoux was breaking, and Park just got a little too much on it.
Right, Matt Robidoux going without the puck, and David Park head-manning like you're supposed to, and had the right idea, just a little too much mustard on that. Face-off deep in the Massena end to the left of goaltender Matt Meacham, and I'll tell you, goaltenders, this one they really, it's pressure on them all the time because their mistakes are really magnified.
11:08 left in the third period, a 2-2 tie hockey game on the Corky scoreboard. Off the draw, puck sits in the circle. Job trying to clear, doesn't quite get it out of the zone, dumped back in the corner. David Park runs into the official, and Butt comes up with a puck and slides it down the ice. And that's going to trickle right in on Frank, and I believe he's going to cover it up. He sure is. And he'll hold on for the face-off.
Referee George Dobbins had trouble getting out of the way down there. Big David Park was running him, and then when he broke free from David Park, the other, I think it was Stevie Smith that gave him a shot, and he ended up going into the Massena net. But
off the face-off, Robidoux in the corner, trying to barge his way through, knocked away. Puck along the boards. Robidoux still battling for it, along with Mankies. Mankies tries to squirt it free. It's still in the circle. Where is it? Mankies' shot. Doesn't get through. Bouncing puck into the glass. Mankies after it. Kicks it ahead. Here's Mankies in front. Job to Robidoux. Backhand score! And the Raiders take the lead 3-2.
Steve Mankies, I'll tell you, he doesn't get the goal, but he kept the puck in on that left side, took it away from the Canton player, and got it out in front to Matt Job. And as Job was being knocked down, he slid it over to Robidoux, and Matt Robidoux on his backhand got it upstairs in a hurry, up over the left shoulder of James Frank, just underneath the crossbar, and the Raiders have broken that 2-2 tie. It's going to be Robidoux from Mankies and Job.
3-2, Raiders have taken the lead here.
Big job by Steve Mankies keeping it in the zone.
Oh boy, I guess so. Off the face-off, puck dumped in the Massena zone. Goes bouncing in behind the net to Ian Francia. He'll drop it in the corner, intercepted there. They move it right in front, bounces back to the blue line. A bouncer knocked down, and the Raiders are going to be called. Oh, they weren't called for a hand pass. Here comes Carroll. Back the other way. He's busts in. Here's Carroll. Centering pass in front, and Frank got a piece of it on the way through. Golden Bears back the other way. Here comes Canton into the zone. Stiles Bridges with it. Barges his way through. Where's the puck? Controlled by the Raiders to the blue line and out to center ice. Bouncing around. Hit the official. Back across into the zone. Offsides will be the call.
That go-ahead goal coming at the 4-minute, 32-second mark, his 17th of the year, a team-leading goal. Matt Robidoux from Matt Job and Steve Mankies. Excellent job by that trio to break this tie. Robidoux from Job and Mankies.
Actually, all three of them did a good job in what they did. Mankies did most of the work, but Job made a good play, and, of course, Robidoux finding the net.
Got to finish, you bet.
Face-off, Robbie Whitcup. Out to take the draw against Mark Smith. Now they're going to toss them both, and Nathan will come in to take the face-off. Off the draw, puck comes into the Massena zone. David Park flips it ahead to center ice. Trickles by everybody to the Canton blue line. Peter Smith off the boards, knocked away Park. Park's got to wait for his wing to get on sides. He does, but the Golden Bears control it. Out to Ryan. Ryan gets railed. Puck taken in the zone by Smith. Smith in the corner. Still has the puck trying to center it, but it's knocked away by Steve Smith, and he bangs it out to center ice. Dumped right back in. David Park blocks it. Moves it ahead, trying to feed Nathan Whitcup. He barges by. Here's Whitcup skating in front. Shot, and he roofed it up over the net and missed the net.
Oh, Nathan Whitcup, and he just went barreling into that net and hit that post and knocked it off its pins, but just a great effort. Picked up that loose puck, got in around the Canton defenseman who was just on his back, but he was in so tight, he tried to get it up, and he got it up a little bit too much, but a great effort by Nathan Whitcup, and as he went barreling, I tell you, he's got a grimace on his face. He's got to be hurting, but he won't tell you. Raiders are making a change, but excellent effort by Nathan Whitcup.
Face-off will move outside the zone as Whitcup knocked the net off. Robidoux back out there with Job and Mankies. And it's the big Canton line, Parks, Chase, and Fisher. Robidoux wins the draw, tries to barge his way through. It's knocked away, comes back out. Francia dumps it in the zone. Raiders have to clear. Golden Bears come up with a puck and move it ahead. Here's Fisher with it. His headman pass goes by everybody, and they wave the icing off. Puck cleared around the boards out to Robidoux. Robidoux overskates a little bit. And following up on the play is Carroll. He'll bang it ahead for Robidoux. Knocked away from him. Back the other way. Here comes John Parks. Knocked away from him. Back to the low. Oh, Robidoux almost had an interception there as the puck goes to the Massena line. Back out to center ice. Here's Mankies. Mankies will gather it ahead to Job. Job. Nice headman pass to Mankies. He couldn't get the shot off. Oh, Job in behind. Has it swept away. Goes after it in the corner, cleared to the blue line. Francia can't keep it in. Trickles back to center ice. Carroll dumps it right back in the zone. Delay offsides, Raiders clear the zone. The puck comes to David Lapointe. Bangs it ahead to the blue line, kept in by Mankeys, and then out to center ice. Here comes Canton back the other way. John Parks takes it across, gets by the defenseman, centering pass, goes all the way back to the blue line, and poke checked away by Mankeys. Mankeys down the other way, in on the off wing. Mankeys with Angstrom, and he lost it off the end of his stick. Puck clear to the blue line. Park, did he keep it in? He did. Comes to Mankeys. Mankeys trying to center it to Angstrom off his skate. Angstrom gathers it, makes the move, gets knocked off the puck. Rochford back to the point. Park shot deflected off a skate. Comes to Angstrom in the corner. Angstrom circles, goes back to the point, kept in by Smith. Quick snapshot, save made, rebound, sits in front. They battle at it, comes to the blue line and out to center ice. Here comes Canton to the Massena line, but Smith is there to pick up the loose puck. That Canton contingent had been out there for a long time, and they were tired.
Oh, John Parks. So was Steve Mankeys. He was out there for a long time.
Puck comes back to the blue line to Steve Smith. Smith's pass goes off Angstrom's skate. He didn't see it. Smith gathers it in again, bangs it ahead to center ice. Bounces free. Dump back in the zone. Goes in behind the net. Converse after it. He'll flip it ahead. No, he's going to keep. He lost it off the end of his stick to Briggs. Briggs in the corner, trying to step by Converse, knocks him out of the play. Puck to the blue line. Here's a shot right through traffic, goes bouncing back to the point and out to center ice. And up into the Massena bench, and we'll have a face-off. We're down to 6:51 left in the third period on the Evergreens Memorial scoreboard. It's 3-2 Massena.
And one of the guys that take... one of the skaters out there, one of the hardest falls of the night, referee Joe Eppolito, who had
ouch,
brushing his snow off his backside. Joe took a tough tumble. He tripped over that blue line on the far side and caught a rut.
It'll be Whitkup's line out there for Massena against the Smith line. Off the draw, Ian Francia over skates, and into the zone it goes, but picked up by Brian Carroll. Here's Carroll flipping it ahead to the blue line, not out of the zone, bounces in front, and it's clear to the blue line again. And finally, Nathan Whitcup pokes it ahead. Robbie coming in after it, but it's knocked away from him. Nathan at the blue line, trying to keep it in the zone. He doesn't. Dump back in, delay offsides. Raiders clear. Canton clears it back out. Nathan, he'll drop it back to his own blue line, and Brian Carroll. Carroll flips on the other side. Francia moves it ahead, and Brown just dumps it in the zone. In the corner it goes, picked up by White. White steps by the check, starts it ahead. Flips it out by the blue line, out to center ice it comes. Here comes Canton. Across. Here's a shot, way wide. Puck whistles around the boards back to the point. Knocked down, goes into the corner. Back after it, they try to move it in front. Cleared to the side of the net. Golden Bears move it in front. It bounces free, and Whitcup just flips it out to center ice. And that'll go all the way down the ice. Not far enough for icing. Frank will clear it ahead. Out to the neutral zone. All kinds of changes going on here as the Bears dump it back down. That's waved off for some reason.
I don't know why.
Smith loses it, or in front the shot. Big save, as actually that was the other defenseman who lost it in front, not Smith. Now Smith will follow up. Headman pass to Job. Job barges his way through. The puck trickles through and is cleared by Frank along the boards. Robidoux after it there. He's bodied into the glass. The puck bounces free. Robidoux and Job. Job takes it behind the net, knocked away from him. And the puck clear to the blue line. Smith winds up. Quick shot is way wide. And the puck around the boards on the other side. Robidoux throws a hard check. Bouncing puck cleared out to center ice. Here comes Canton in the zone. That's Parks rather. He's taken out of the play. Nice play by Francia. Puck clear to the blue line. Not out of the zone. Dumped back in the corner. Francia takes it on the other side. Goes to Job. Job headman on Robidoux's stick. Robidoux steps by the check. Here's Robidoux taking it in on the off wing. Here's Robidoux trying to barge through the middle, knocked away. Here comes Canton the other way as the Raiders make a change. Into the zone is Jason Briggs, and he's taken out of the play by Angstrom. Angstrom flips it ahead and is cleared out to center ice by Massena. Dumped back in by Canton. There's going to be a delay off sides. The Golden Bears still haven't cleared the zone. Raiders still ahead. Now Massena dumping it out to center ice. Bouncing puck, dumped back in Massena territory. 4:17 left in the third period. Raiders still holding on to a 3-2 lead. Here's Aaron Michaud with it. Doesn't clear the zone, bounces around, finally out to center ice. Picked up by Carroll. Here's Brian Carroll leading the attack. Carroll takes it wide into the corner. In behind, Front to Angstrom. Angstrom in front. Michaud shot. Save made. The bouncer. Picked up by Carroll. Carroll backhand shot. Can't get it off. It's finally cleared into the slot. They still battle for it. Finally, the Bears will ice it. Down the ice it goes, and that's got to be called icing. I can't see how they couldn't. They're going to make the call, and the faceoff will move back inside Canton territory. 3:43 left. Third period, 3-2 Massena on the Corky's Collision scoreboard.
I tell you, Brian Carroll's grandparents, Jack and Elaine, leaving for Florida, I do believe, tomorrow. They would have loved to have seen him cash that one, and he had a great opportunity. But just prior to that, Matt Meacham saved the bacon for the Raiders when I think it was Corey Chase coming off the bench, picked up an errant clearing pass in front, and he walked right in and low shot, and Meacham came up with an excellent save. The biggest of the night, maybe the biggest of the year for the Raiders.
Face-off will be in the Canton zone. 3:43 left in the third period. And what do we got here?
Well, the Raiders, both clubs are going to shorten their bench here in the last 3:43. But
Joe Brabadou and Mankeys coming back out from Massena. And I'm sure we've got Parks, Fisher, and Chase out there for Canton.
Oh, you just have to know if Chase is out there and look down, and he's head and shoulders.
Face off in the Canton zone, right side. 3-2 Raiders lead off the draw. Brabadou takes it into the corner, gets knocked off the puck. It bounces to the blue line out to center ice. That's Parks, where Chase with it. Intercepted Brabadou. Brabadou ahead to Job. Job, he finds Mankeys, and Mankeys couldn't quite gather the pass. Nice pass, though. Puck bounces free, and it's backhanded into the Massena zone. Picked up by Steve Smith. Rounds the boards to Job. Job to Brabadou, who kicks it out to center ice, and falling down, knocks it over to Mankeys. Mankeys just lifts it in the Canton zone. Bounces right on it. I'll tell you what, James Frank is wasting no time. Every time that puck comes near him, he covers it up.
And those little flip shots like that bounce, they're trickier than what they look, Jerry. So goaltenders hate to see those. They'd rather see one coming in there at 90 miles an hour than those little short hop things. But James Frank, along with his counterpart, Matt Meacham at the other end, both of them have been strong here tonight. And we're coming right down to the wire, and this is a nail biter.
3-2 Raiders lead with 3:08. The Raiders want to make a change, but they're not going to let them.
No. Coach Joe Javin said you've already made one out there, and both teams, I gave you plenty of time. Even though Massena's got the last change as home team, they had ample time to make that change. And
face-off will come right side in the Canton zone. Off the draw, puck in the corner. Mankeys after it, in behind the net, can't come up with it. Around the horn it goes, and the Bears will move it out to center ice. That's Mike Donnelly into the Massena zone. Carroll takes it off his stick, and Mankeys picks it up, flips it ahead, not out of the zone. Puck in the corner. Racing for it is Smith. Ahead to Mankeys, and he'll move it ahead. Head man to center ice, meant for Job. Brabadou will follow. Here's Matt Brabadou, and he lost it off the end of his stick. Lost his edge. Puck cleared out to center ice. Francia. He'll drop it over to Brian Carroll. Carroll bangs it off the boards ahead to Brabadou. And that should have been icing too, shouldn't it? Here's Angstrom in the corner, as Massena did make the change. Puck underneath him. Bounces to Rochford. He kicks it in the corner. Angstrom had lost his stick. Puck picked up on the defense by Ainsworth. Doesn't clear the zone. Here's a shot right across the goal mouth in the corner. After it is Ryan. Puck tied up. LaPointe to the blue line, and Canton moves it out to center ice. 2 minutes remaining in the third period. The Bears want to change. They want to get that big line back out there. Puck in the Massena zone. Francia. Headman pass on the stick of Rochford. Rochford to Angstrom. He just deflects it in the Canton zone. Puck in the corner. Picked up by the Bears. They round the boards with it. Chase out to center ice. Goes to Francia. Francia flips it ahead in the Canton zone, 1.5 minutes. Puck bounces free. Here comes Mankeys. Mankeys gets tied up, trying to flip it to the blue line. It's poked out to center ice. Comes back to the red line. Smith will go to David Park, and he'll dump it from the red line deep in Canton territory. 1:20 left.
Don't want to see any passes back towards your blue line. In this situation, Steve Mankeys trying to set something up, but if you're not sure, you want to just drive the puck deep into the opposition end. Don't throw it back towards your blue line, because if the opposition intercepts it, they're away on an odd man rush. And
the Raiders don't need another goal now. They need to keep Canton off the board with a 3-2 lead. 1:14 remaining in the third period. Did somebody call a timeout?
I think the Bears have, but if they don't, Massena will, I'm sure. They each have their timeout left, but I think Canton is...
Now they're making changes left and right here.
Well, they're killing enough time. The officials are giving them enough time. They really probably don't have to use their timeout. Very slow changes, and Canton players were sitting on the ice in front of the bench. I assumed that they had called the timeout.
Now they call their timeout. They waste as much time as they can.
Oh, sure.
Our broadcast on WMSA brought to you by Massena Optics, Main Street, downtown Massena. Reynolds Metals, St. Lawrence Reduction Plant, Massena Building Supply. Also by Seacom, Coca-Cola, bottlers of Powerade, by Massena Savings and Loan. Sullivan's Office Supply, by Seaway Orthopedics. Also by Upstate Telecom, by the North Country Savings Bank, by Nationwide and your local Nationwide agents, Robert Adams and Robert White. Tri-Lakes Home Medical Equipment, and by Tony's Pizza in downtown Massena. Raiders lead 3-2 on the Evergreen Memorial scoreboard.
And that was the Bears timeout, Jerry. I think they called that one. We had massive penalties in that second period, 6, and we only had 2, 1 to each team here in the third. And I'll tell you, this you can just feel the tension here in the air. There's not a lot of cheering or clapping. I think people are just too nervous to do that. Yeah, I know you and I are, especially me, I'm up here squirming in my seat, but and Coach Latham and staff instructing exactly, and I'm sure both Massena they're talking about defensive zone coverage.
That's right. Don't give up any odd man rushes.
Well, and especially good, strong position in your own end. Don't take any chances. Dump one man. And Canton, they're setting something up offensively, and they're talking to goaltender James Frank, telling him when
to come out.
When to come out. That's right. So we're down to 1:14, and the face-off is going to be deep in the Canton end. And let's see what we know Canton will have out there. They'll have out the Parks, Chase, and Fisher line, and
which leads me to believe the Raiders will have the Robidoux line out there.
Robidoux, Menkes, and Joe. Well, let's see. Yeah, they are. Let's see.
Well, wait a minute. Rochford's out.
Yeah, they're replacing Matt Job. Is probably inexperienced. You're going to put the captain out there.
Job's had a strong game, though, tonight.
Oh, yeah, and he's definitely, but he wants a little more experience out there right now. Paul Rocheford's been,
Now, wait a minute here. We've got Rochford and Angstrom and Converse. Okay. They faked us all out.
Well.
1:14 left.
I'm sure we'll see the Robidoux line before this period.
There's another whistle.
There's another whistle.
Face-off will be to the left side in the Canton zone. Steve Smith and David Park are the 2 blue line men for the Raiders. Angstrom wins the face-off, has it knocked away, clear to the blue line and out to center ice. Here comes Canton, and he just dumps it. Meacham's going to make the save and hold on. That was from center ice, and again, kind of a knuckleball, and Meacham makes the save, and they're going to pull their goalie with 1:02 left. Why not, right?
And the 2 guys, definitely the guy that they should be focused, all the guys in the yellow shirt, but the guy wearing number 8 out there, John Parks, is...
he's a sniper.
He's the sniper.
Okay, now Robidoux comes out.
Got to mark him in that defensive zone coverage. Know where he is all the time.
Yeah, the Bears have pulled their goaltender. There's 1:02 left in the third period. Raiders leading by 1. Off the face-off, puck goes into the corner. David Park has it stolen away. As the Raiders try to clear the zone, Park has lost his stick, and Robidoux picks up the puck. Here's Robidoux flipping it ahead. Matt Job, and he just bangs it off the boards out to center ice. Nice play, and a heads-up play by Matt Job.
And a great job by Robidoux picking it up in behind the net to
now the puck in the Canton zone. They control the puck out to center ice. Here's Parks with it. Takes it across, has it knocked away. Where's the puck? It's underneath Parks. It's finally bouncing in front. The Raiders try to clear the zone, and they do. Menkes head to Robidoux. Robidoux deflects it, and that goes wide. Smith follows up and hit the side of the net. Puck bounces in front. They clear it to the blue line out to center ice, right back in the zone. Delay offsides, 10 seconds left. Here's a shot down the ice, knocked away, David Park. 5 seconds to Robidoux. Robidoux gets knocked off the puck. 1. That's going to take care of it right there. And the Raiders beat Canton 3-2, and that's a big win for Massena.
Well, it's not only a big win for the 2 points, but it's a big psychological win. The monkey off the back of the Raiders. Most of these kids have not beaten them in their high school career. And Coach Ed Latham hasn't beaten him in his 2 years as being the head coach behind the bench. So it's a big win all the way around, Jerry.
I'll tell you, the Raiders did a good job there. Canton really did not even set anything up in their own or in the Massena zone.
Well, you mentioned Job. It was Robert who dug it out behind the net, did an excellent job evading a check down here, got the puck up on the right side to Matt Job, and he just chipped it by the defender.
And again, he's heads-up play because he didn't just wail away at it. He had time, and he made the smart play to chip it ahead, and after that, the Raiders just controlled it. So big win for Massena, 3-2 over Canton. The Raiders, pending the outcome of the Ogdensburg Salmon game, take over first place in Division 1. Of course, if Ogdensburg beats Salmon tonight or ties, yes. So Massena and Ogdensburg are tied.
What happened?
It ended up a 2-2 tie in Ogdensburg.
Well, half a loaf is better than nothing at all.
So that's right. So the Raiders and Ogdensburg are now tied on points with Canton one behind.
But the Raiders have a game in hand versus the Birds.